Good evening. Welcome to the Goffstown Town Administrators Report, the town meeting of April 24th, 2007, Selectmen's meeting. Please join me for the Pledge Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so we have the acceptance and corrections of minutes for 3/27/17 public and non-public minutes.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Motion by David, seconded by Peter, for the 3/27/17 public and non-public minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We have one abstain.
There he is.
The ayes have it. Announcements. This just in from the Manchester Waterworks, lifting of the voluntary conservation of outdoor water use, Manchester, New Hampshire. The Manchester Board of Waterworks Commissioners at the April 20th board meeting voted to officially suspend the voluntary water restriction previously requested of MWW franchise customers back in October 2016. The request for voluntary restrictions was made due to the extreme drought conditions last summer and into the fall months. With the precipitation experienced over the winter months, Manchester Waterworks is pleased to report that Lake Massabesic and Tower Hill Pond, our water supply, are at full capacity. This precludes the needs to continue the voluntary restrictions at this time. The Manchester Waterworks will continue to work with the New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services in monitoring any potential severe drought situations as we head into the high consumption summer months. We do not want to remind our customers, regardless of a restriction on water use, please use this most valuable resource wisely. For current drought information and water efficiency fact sheets, including efficiency tips, go to www.des.nh.gov, click on the A to Z list and scroll down to the Drought Management Program, or call Manchester Waterworks at 603-624-6494. We will probably be happy to assist you in any way we can. Manchester Waterworks runs the largest state water supply system serving Manchester and surrounding communities, comprising a population of approximately 160,000. Recently recognized as Utility of the Year by New England Waterworks Association, the Manchester Waterworks has become just the 11th utility in the nation to receive this prestigious Excellence in Water Treatment Award. For more information about Manchester Waterworks, go to www.manchesternh.gov water. This is a...
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
just want to make sure that everybody knows that this does not affect the Goffstown Village Water Precinct.
Correct.
They have not come out with any statement as of yet, any kind of a water restriction, if there is or isn't. And it really only affects the Penardville, well, actually, it affects from the old Greer Road into Manchester, Penardville section.
This was a suspension of the restriction
Right.
in place.
I'm just saying, that doesn't mean that if Grassmere or Goffstown Water Precinct may still have restrictions. We don't know that. We haven't received any information that way.
True. Good point. Well taken. The next one, news release for immediate release, was dated April 11, 2017. It's from the Goffstown, New Hampshire, the Police Department, Chief Robert Brown. On Saturday, April 29, 2017, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., the Goffstown Police Department and the Drug Enforcement Administration, DEA, will give the public its 13th nationwide one-day collaborative drug take-back initiative from effort to remove potentially dangerous controlled substances from our nation's home. This national incentive will provide an opportunity for the public to surrender pharmaceutical controlled substances and other medical law enforcement officers for destruction. Expired, unused, unwanted controlled substance in our homes are a potential source of supply for the increasing use of pharmaceutical drugs in the United States and an unacceptable risk to public health and safety. Bring your medications for disposal to the Goffstown Police Department at 326 Mast Road, Goffstown, New Hampshire, 03045. No needles or liquids can be accepted. The service is free and anonymous. No questions will be asked. Citizens are now advised that their unused methods for disposing the unusual medicines, flushing them down the toilet, and throwing them in the trash both pose potential safety and health hazards. For more information in regards to this initiative, please contact Detective Jason Willett at the Goffstown Police Department, 603-497-4858. This is an update. It's a update on the traffic alert for the Main Street programs going on. Goffstown, the Goffstown Water Village Precinct announces road construction work related to the water line replacement on Main Street. The project will start Wednesday, the 12th, which it has, I believe, already, at 9 a.m. and will last a few weeks. The work zone will be between the Pleasant Street intersection and Depot Street. Single-lane alternating traffic will be necessary at times. Delays should be expected from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, and additional night work may be necessary 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. Please contact the Goffstown Water Precinct at 603-497-3621 with any questions. Thank you for your patience. And I will add that the DPW has placed signs along the back road. If residents of the town are interested in taking the back road rather than dealing with any of the construction issue over here, they're allowed to take the back road as well. Another one from Congresswoman Carol Shea Porter. Her office hours here at Town Hall, 16 Main Street, 03045, April 27th, 2017, from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Congresswoman Shea Porter is committed to hearing from and addressing the needs of all constituents in its first congressional district. One of the Congresswoman's caseworkers, Sharon Nichols, will be available to assist constituents with issues that may be facing with a federal agency or local concerns. Sharon will be able to answer questions and/or open inquiry with federal agency. Contact Sharon Nichols at 603-285-4300 or sharonnichols@mailhouse.gov. Last one. This is regarding to the Glen Lake refilling schedule. Weather permitting, we hope to have the flashboards up by Memorial Day here at Gregg Falls. Once they are up, we will start refilling the lake to its normal summertime level. We will update everyone if there are any changes to this schedule. If anyone has any questions, they can call us at 497-4290. Sincerely, Kevin Carvo, Gregg Falls Dam.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question about, not so much Gregg's Falls, but the Kelly Falls. Do we ever get any notices on what they do there?
For the time that I have been with this board, Peter, I have not ever seen it. I have not seen anything. Adam, can you check on that so we get an answer on that?
Certainly.
Thank you. Um, 6:10. Anybody here for public comment this evening? Going once, going twice. We'll close the public comment. We'll be a little early, but we're going to start. We're going to do the oaths of office for the firefighter O'Brien, police officer Ball, and Officer Pelletier. Captain Stekowicz, I believe you're going to handle that part for the police officers.
Yes,
Are they both here?
I'm going to check right now.
Okay.
Sounds like they are.
Right.
They tend to be noisy.
Hang on.
Usually we wait right till that time in case some
families.
Yeah, in case some family
Okay.
members. So maybe Carrie could bring up the ATM machine right now or something.
Sure.
Okay,
I'm just to get something out of the way.
all right, sure, that'll work.
Huh?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for having us here. Thank you for giving us the venue for swearing in and introducing the newest officers that we have. Right now, I want to talk to you about the proposal that we have for the board to consider on installing an ATM machine in the lobby of our police station. Now, it seems at first blush that maybe that's kind of an odd idea, but when you think about it, really, people come in all the time, and they need to pay fees for certain items that we produce for them. Crash reports, kennel fees if we hold a dog for any period of time, copying fees, parking ticket fees, and pistol permit fees. Now, you may say to yourself, well, gee, didn't we just abrogate the need for pistol permits in New Hampshire? Well, we did, but if you're going to travel, there are still certain states that do not recognize open carry, and therefore you need a permit issued from the state in which you reside. So those fees are something that are a daily occurrence for us collecting them, and a lot of time we do not have the ability at this time to accept credit or debit cards. So sometimes what happens is the person comes and they have to leave, they go to an ATM down in Pinardville or into the village and get their cash that way to pay the fees. This way, they would have ready access to cash inside our lobby, right where they're going to make the payment. So those are some of the reasons behind the average citizen just coming in to do business with us. Another time that really we see a lot of need for someone to have access to cash is when they're in a situation where they've either turned themselves in on an arrest warrant and are going to be processed and most likely be released on personal recognizance bail, or even at times a cash bail, if we've been able to tell them what it is ahead of time. For instance, an electronic bench warrant, if that's been issued by the court and it's a cash to settle warrant, which means in order to be released, you pay the fee that you owe the court and out you go, those fees could be also obtained by use of the ATM. We have a lot of cases where you have out-of-town folks that have to wait for somebody to come in and post their bail because they don't have the cash, and yet they have an ATM or debit card right in their pocket, but we're not going to release them to go get their money and come back. So that would be an advantage in those circumstances. And again, it makes it also so that the bail commissioner, who is due that fee for their appearance there at 1, 2, 3 in the morning, whatever it is, actually get paid rather than having to chase that defendant around for money later on. A lot of times you'll see them come to court, and if they haven't paid that fee, the judge will remind them that fee is due and owing. It just adds another set of hands if it's done that way, where they could just do it right there at the station if that ATM were available. The ATM machine would be secured in the lobby area of the police department. All it would need is basically a electronics feed for it. It would be owned and maintained by a private entity. Normally, there's a fee for use of an ATM machine. I think most banks even charge folks a fee to obtain their own money. The fee is adjustable. Usually it's somewhere around $2.25, as high as $3 for some. If the town wanted to get a small reimbursement for having the machine there, you could adjust the fee upwards. So instead of, let's say, a $2.25 or $2.75 fee, you could charge $3, and the town could get the excess above what the company is charging. The service is done by the provider. Any of the feeds that are needed are provided by the provider, and if there's an upgrade in the machine, they take care of that. They take care of the maintenance, they take care of supplying the cash that goes in it, and anything else that goes along with upkeep, restocking, and installation. It's all fee-free to us. One other thing I just wanted to mention to you is we're heavily traveled and very busy on that corridor in the evening. And that would be a much safer place for someone who needs cash for medicine at the pharmacy or whatever to go, rather than some of the banking institutions which don't provide that same level of security that would you'd have at the police department lobby.
Make a motion that we go ahead with and charge no fee.
I'll second that.
So
I don't see a reason why we should be making money on somebody's unfortunate circumstance.
And just for discussion, adding 25 cents, as you may have mentioned, is possible to a fee. Your officers gain that back in efficiency many times over, because you're dealing with the individual only once in a transaction, rather than explaining all the rules. They disappear for a half hour to get money, and then they come back. And so
Right.
two-
Yeah, oftentimes
two
you-
long conversations.
Yes, oftentimes you'll have somebody that's sitting in the booking room waiting for someone to arrive with cash, where they've got ready access to it if they just had a ATM machine nearby.
That's why I seconded it.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, I spoke to IT. They said they could provide a drop for internet service to the ATM machine that would be separate from the public Wi-Fi there, but also separate from the police department's internal
Correct.
Okay.
wireless, so it would be kind of a firewall setup. I think the other couple decisions, one would be some departments that I've seen have added an ATM sign, either in a window or somewhere somewhat conspicuous from the street, kind of advertising. I don't know if you want to go to that extent or not. And then the second thing is the fees, the additional fees. It sounds like the board may not want to charge the town portion of that fee. There would still be a fee by the service provider of that ATM. Would the board like to proceed with a local vendor? It's going to be below, because it's a no-cost item. It's going to be outside the purchasing policy, but would you like to advertise and receive bids from a few different companies to do that, or proceed with a local vendor as the police chief has recommended?
Doesn't really matter to us, we're not gonna be getting any, it's no
Yeah.
cost to us, and no, no fee to us, we're not gonna get any money from it, so whoever.
There's a very local vendor here that's ready to go if they get the
Let the
okay.
department
Yeah.
We'll let-
negotiate.
Yeah. If the board is in favor, we'll let the police department handle it.
Yeah.
Our local vendor's there, he's ready to go. You guys are all in favor of it, everybody's okay? All right. So there's a motion by Peter, seconded by David, to allow the Goffstown Police Department to install ATM machine in the front lobby of the office. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained? The ayes have it.
One more thing, Mr. Chairman, just to pick up on something Adam said, I don't really particularly think we should be advertising the ATM machine, that people could just pop in there on the way home and get cash. I thought maybe we'd just keep it for, you don't need people going in and out on a
The
regular.
word will get out eventually that it's there anyway, so it's,
Okay, so
I don't think it's,
to add to
We
that.
don't have to put a sign out
Yeah,
there.
no advertisement.
Right, now we can do the other thing, right?
All right. Now we'll go to the oath of office for the police officers.
Sorry about that, but I just thought we'd just get that right out of the way.
That's all right.
Good
Yeah.
point.
Didn't make it into the agenda, but Captain Steckowich has one more item too on that travel request. It's in the TA report. but it
Okay.
wasn't in it.
somebody's got the oath of office, right?
Mark should have it.
I got them both.
Good deal.
You just get up and give a story. Give the story.
All right.
It's all signed.
Full house.
Okay, first of all, again, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the Board of Selectmen for allowing us to use this venue to have a public swearing in and to introduce two of our newest members. These officers have done a lot of hard work to get where they are. One has been in police service for a period of time now. The other is brand new to it, and the real work's just starting for them. After they get sworn in, then Field training commences. That lasts as long as necessary to get them up and running to where they're going to meet our tough standards here in Goffstown and do things the way we think they should be done as a nationally accredited police department. I'd like to introduce First Officer Ethan Ball. Ethan, if you come on up. Ethan hails from Wakefield, New Hampshire, where he attended Kingswood Regional High School before moving on to Norwich University. He graduated summa cum laude from Norwich in 2015 with a BA in criminal justice. Ethan is a U.S. Army veteran, being honorably discharged as a lieutenant in the infantry. This past Friday, Ethan graduated near the top of his class of the 172nd Police Academy. It's funny, I graduated from the 50th Police Academy.
Few generations in there.
Water over the dam, anyway. Ethan, you have family members here, so if you'd like to introduce them before we get the swearing in going?
Absolutely.
That's fine.
So with me, I have my wife, Erin. She's over right there on the far left. My father, Doug, and my mother, Jean.
All right, well, it's time to do the oath.
Would you step over here, please, Ethan? We'll both raise our right hand, okay? To Ethan Ball, please repeat after me. To Ethan Ball,
To Ethan Ball,
of the Goffstown in the county of Hillsborough,
of Goffstown in the county of Hillsborough.
whereas there is a vacancy in the office of police officer
Whereas there's a vacancy in the position of police officer
in the town of Goffstown Police Department,
in the town of Goffstown Police Department.
and whereas we,
And whereas we,
the subscribers, have confidence in you
the subscribers, have confidence in you,
and your ability and integrity
in your ability and integrity
to perform the duties as said office,
to perform the duties of said office,
we do hereby appoint you,
we do hereby appoint you,
said Ethan Ball, a police officer
said Ethan Ball, a police officer
of the said town of Goffstown,
of the said town of Goffstown,
upon taking your oath of office
upon taking your oath of office
and having this appointment and certificate
and having this appointment and
certificate of oath recorded by the town clerk,
certificate of oath
by the town clerk.
by the town clerk.
You shall have the powers
You shall have the powers
to perform duties
to perform duties
and be subject
and be
to
subject
the liabilities of such office
to the liabilities of such office
until any person shall be chosen and qualified in your stead.
until any person should be
In your stead.
in my stead.
Okay, repeat after me again. I, please state your name,
I, Ethan Ball,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully and impartially
that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge and perform all duties
discharge and perform all duties
incumbent on me as a police officer
incumbent upon me as a police officer
to the best of my abilities,
to the best of my abilities,
agreeably to the United States Constitution,
agreeably to the United States Constitution,
rules and regulations of the Constitution and laws of the state of New Hampshire,
rules and regulations of the Constitution and laws of New Hampshire,
and the ordinance of the town of Goffstown,
and the ordinance of the town of Goffstown.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Print your name there. Print your name there and sign here. That's for the code of ethics. Now, he's already been sworn in, so
We're just going to introduce.
quick announcement. Oops, Right there.
Oh, mistake.
Right there. Yep.
Look at the front.
He's one of 6 left-handed officers in the department now. The strangest thing I've ever
Nothing
seen.
wrong with lefties. You're right down there.
Now, Ethan, if you come over here, there's also a little part of the ceremony we do here. We normally have a family member of your choosing pin your badge on you, so if you have that ready to go, select away.
All right.
Normally, we see quite a bit of blood during this.
Stab it right in.
I think that might be the fastest one we've ever had. All right, congratulations.
How do you want to shoot the picture?
For the camera. Thank you.
Yeah.
Jay, how do you?
Want to get with the flag in the background?
Actually, I like it up there rather than with the
There?
door.
All right.
Yeah,
We'll go over there.
with the flag.
Slide down that way.
Everybody look happy. This is a happy occasion.
We're happy. We're happy.
You're happy. You always say that. but- Thank you.
Very good, Ethan.
The next party up, it doesn't have quite the pomp and circumstance because Matt Pelletier's already been sworn in by the town clerk, which she's authorized to do because we wanted to get him up and running as soon as we could because he's already certified. So Matt, if you'd come up. Matthew Pelletier is from Bedford, New Hampshire, where he grew up attending Manchester's West High School before moving on to college at Plymouth State University. He graduated with a Bachelor's of Science in Computer Science. He's a certified police officer in Virginia, Washington, D.C., and Maryland, where he worked for the WMATA Metro Transit Police and has done in D.C. and has done so since 2014. Matt and his family have relocated back here to New Hampshire. Being previously certified, Matt, as I said, has already been sworn in by the town clerk last month, and we wanted to publicly introduce him to Goffstown and hope that Matt's training goes as smoothly as possible here, and we get him up and running on the road, and you'll see his face an awful lot once that's done. So congratulations, Matt. And
Thank you. My parents, Mark and Barbara. I have my wife, Jessica, and my mother-in-law, Rose, here with me today.
And I think, Mom, you grew up on Knollcrest originally, right? So she's Goffstown, right by the Masonic Temple is where her and her family lived when they were young. So it was funny when Matt first came in, he told me, my mom said she knows you. And I said, is that good or bad? And then he told me, that's good. So, and Matt Pelletier, everybody.
Got a smile, David.
George, you gotta move, there we go. We gotta get to all of you. Thank you. Could I have,
Thanks, buckle aboard.
could I have Ethan come back up so I can get one of the two of them together with you guys?
Hey, where you going?
Yeah. David, I still need
Oh,
you.
two of them together. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you mentioned just the two.
No, no, just
Okay.
with,
I'm just gonna put Ethan next to the flag, so.
there we go.
Sorry.
Yeah, so-
Thank you.
Only one picture in the photo.
All right.
Fire department guys to do now, right?
Yeah, we got fire department left to do.
All set?
All set.
Good evening. Connor, I'll have you come on up. We have another big proud moment for the Goffstown Fire Department, where we're introducing Connor O'Brien as the newest full-time firefighter for Goffstown Fire Department. Little background story on Connor. Connor actually started as an explorer with the fire department, where he went to the New Hampshire Explorer Training Academy up in Concord a number of years. And when he turned 18, he became a call firefighter here with us. He's a firefighter too. Just finished up as certified as advanced EMT, and he's completing his health science degree with the New Hampshire Tech with associate's degree. So he's well on his way to a long-lasting career in the fire service. One of the points that I've made before is there's three important F's in the fire service. One is the fire station of the fire department, your faith, and family. And without the three of them, you really have a struggle in your fire service career, because you have to deal with a lot of people's heartache and despair in their worst possible moment. And if you don't have support from all three, things tend not to do so well for you. We hope with the fire department, we support you as much as possible. Your faith is something that you dig down deep in, what makes you do what you do in those adverse conditions. And then family. And Connor is actually a third-generation firefighter. His grandfather's here. He was a firefighter for New Boston, and I'll disclose he's my son. And he did quite well in the hiring process, where he finally passed the sniff test with me, and he fits the bill. So with that, I introduce Connor O'Brien. Connor, who do you have here? We have the whole back row, I believe. So.
Yeah, I got my mother here, Sheila. I got my aunt Lynn, my grandfather Bo, a couple family friends, Brian and Charlene. And in the back row, we got cousin Kendra. I got Nancy, my grandmother. My third grade teacher, actually. Is Linda Lambert. My brother Patrick. I think I got everybody, right?
I think so. Cool.
We left out Lieutenant Riley.
Yeah, Lieutenant Riley's out there. I guess he's a family member now, right?
He's the latest parent figure. Yes, he's his lieutenant. So
Yeah.
why don't you come
Come on
on?
over.
He's my new dad.
Again, raise your right hand. Repeat after me. To Connor O'Brien,
To Connor O'Brien,
to the County of Hillsborough,
County of Hillsborough,
State of New Hampshire,
State of New Hampshire.
whereas this is a vacancy
Where is this a vacancy?
in the office of firefighter
In the office of firefighter
for the Town of Goffstown Fire Department,
for the town of Goffstown Fire Department.
and whereas we subscribe,
And whereas we subscribe,
have confidence in your ability
have confidence in your ability
and integrity to perform the duties
and integrity to perform your duties.
said office.
Said office,
We do hereby appoint you,
we do hereby appoint you,
Connor O'Brien,
Connor O'Brien,
firefighter for the Town of Goffstown.
firefighter for the town of Goffstown.
And having this appointment and
having this appointment
the certificate
and the certificate
of said oath
of said oath
recorded by the town clerk,
recorded by the town clerk.
you have the powers to perform
You have the powers to perform
duties
duties
and subject to the abilities
and subject to the abilities
of such office,
of such office,
until another person shall be chosen
until another person shall be chosen
and qualified in your stead.
and qualified in my stead.
Again, continue, repeat after me, please. I, please state your name,
I, Connor O'Brien,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully and impartially
that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge and perform
discharge and perform
all duties incumbent on me as a firefighter
all duties incumbent on me as a firefighter
according to the best of my abilities,
according to the best of my abilities,
agreeably to the United States Constitution,
agreeably to the United States Constitution,
rules and regulations
rules and regulations
of the Constitution and laws
of the Constitution and the laws
of the State of New Hampshire,
of the State of New Hampshire,
and the ordinances of the Town of Goffstown,
and the ordinances of the town of
so
Goffstown.
help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Welcome.
All right, pin first.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
In out of tradition, also, you pin his badge on, and with that, it's my honor and privilege to actually pin the badge on my son as a full-time firefighter. This will only hurt a little bit. Can't see. All right.
Go down there.
Stay on this side. This side's my good side.
His dad said you don't have a good side.
See me at my worst.
Hang on, paper to sign.
I can't beat you. All right, cool, thank you.
So that will conclude our swearing in for this evening. We welcome you all to the town of Goffstown. Enjoy, have a safe and happy career. I will give these to you. Split them up.
Thank you. Now they've got rich.
I was trying to tell you, that part you need, not them.
You better.
Part you
I hope.
not them. I was trying to tell you, they just read
That in the signatures.
You had stuck to what's to finish up, right?
Yes.
Interesting stuff. I'm back on the hot seat.
Somebody's got to look up. Absolutely.
Nice to meet you. I'm sure you heard a lot about me.
I have. Good thing.
I hope so. Congratulations, man.
Adam, that was the file folder right there that those were in. Welcome back, Cap.
Thank you.
We'll do the out-of-town travel. That's in our section under 5B.
This is part 2 of a 3-part series of trainings that Detective Russo is doing in conjunction with St. Anselm College Dean of Students Office, and it's affiliated with one other part of campus life. They've been to part 1 of it in Houston, Texas already. This trip is in New Orleans. It's part of the Violence Against Women's Act federal grant to promote campus safety and address issues revolving around sexual assault on campuses throughout the country. The college and the police department already have a very significantly tight working relationship, but this really addresses a portion of it where the college has responsibilities that really, under the Clery Act, that are really much different than what responsibilities we have under criminal law. And we're hoping to be able to, through this training, have those two divergent ways of doing business really dovetail where they can more efficiently and more effectively. A lot of times what will happen is there'll be a situation that occurs on campus. The alleged victim is uncomfortable about really coming forward to the law enforcement side, but will go to campus authorities, and they're training their people to do a better, more complete job of addressing those issues as they arise. So again, there'll be one more training phase that comes after this one, but this is a significant piece of that 3-part series.
Motion to approve the overnight travel request. Second.
Motion by Peter, seconded by Collis, to allow the overnight travel for the DOJ Violence Against Women grant. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained? The ayes have it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Karen.
Have a good evening.
Parks and Rec, oh boy, here we go.
Mr. Wilhelmy?
Take a deep breath now.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Geez, a big show here tonight. No parking out there.
This is on section number 6, I believe. So before we start the discussion, so that, I mean, we're all clear as to, I think, where we're going to go, what we want to do, we'll have a very in-depth discussion. Please, let's not mention any of the prices as of yet, so we can move on in a fashion that may help us and not hinder us, and we'll go from there. Okay? What was yours?
Okay. We submitted a request for bid for a field tractor in the Union Leader on March 30th, Thursday, March 30th, and then on April 18th, Tuesday, we opened the bids. We received three bids. Is it okay to say who from?
Yeah, I'll go with that. Just,
From the models.
yeah.
I don't know what my parameters are
No,
here,
no,
so-
you're fine. I just wanted prices
Okay.
is my concern.
That's fine. We received a bid from New Boston Truck and Equipment. We received two bids from Chapel Tractor. And the Chapel Tractor had two different size engines. One was a 40 horse and one was a 47 horse. So that was the difference there. The bid went out, and it was kind of just a vague bid, trying to get everybody involved. And within the language, it did say shuttle shift for transmission. I mean, that was the only real thing that was a definite. One came in as a shuttle shift, the other two came in as a hydrostatic.
Mr. Chairman?
I don't know where to go.
Okay, so I did a little research on this, as I spoke to
Yeah.
Billy about. We went out for bid for a shuttle shift,
Yep,
and somebody came back in with a hydrostatic.
yep,
You had two bids for a hydrostatic.
yep.
So if only one person met the bid, which is the shuttle shift, was what you spec,
Yep.
that would be the one you would have to take. If you want to go with a hydrostatic transmission, which is what you should be going, which is the proper for what you, type of use you want to use, that's the transmission you should have.
Well, can I
Let me
rectify
finish.
something
Yeah, as soon
first?
as I get done talking, you can have your turn. So we went out for bid with one specific, you said a shuttle shift,
Yes,
okay?
Yep.
Then, going on that,
yep,
okay, and to keep the reputation of the town's bid process, okay, if only one tractor met the bid, you have one choice,
okay, that's fine.
okay? But that doesn't really fit what you, that doesn't fit your need.
He hasn't explained that yet, though.
Well, no, he's saying it was better off with the hydrostatic.
Here's the deal, okay? Never did this before. Don't own a tractor, no idea. Shuttle shift, yeah, sounds good. A very good reputable individual that we deal with as far as doing fields has a shuttle shift, highly recommends it, loves it. Okay, so let's put a shuttle shift. Great. All right, come back. Let's go drive one of these things. All right, so now we're going to drive it. Shuttle shift, you got to think more. You have to think more.
Definitely that.
Absolutely.
All right, does it work? It absolutely does work. Is it old school? Yes, it's old school. So your belief saying it absolutely has to be a hydrostatic, that's your belief. Okay? However, after driving them, I totally understand what you're saying. A hydrostatic is a no-brainer because it goes, press a lever, it goes forward, press a lever, it goes backwards.
Okay, so then in the best interest of the town, you go out for a bid for a hydrostatic.
We can do that, that's fine if you want, but I don't
That's
see
my
how.
recommendation.
I don't
That way,
see-
you'll get more people to bid. You only had one person bid.
That's not why, I disagree with that, Peter. I called the company today, I won't mention the company, and I said, did you read about this in the newspaper? They said, no, I don't look at the newspaper.
Well, what's the best interest of the town?
Well, we got two different variables going here, okay? You're saying I didn't get the bids because I didn't put out hydrostatic. That's your statement. Now what I'm trying to come back and say is
But-
that the reason why we didn't get bids?
But it does, in the best interest of the town, it might have been, as you said, you're new to this, you haven't done this before, right? You just said that.
Yeah.
Maybe we would have better off sending it out to some of the manufacturers, saying that I'm in the process of doing this.
Sure.
When Adam, and I'm gonna go back to Adam when he was at DPW, normally you just didn't advertise it in the paper, you approached other dealers about it.
If it's, and granted, DPW buys a lot more equipment, so we would generally have a pretty good bidders list of people that have either over the years said, hey, when you buy equipment, add us to the list. So, we send out a, personal invite for 6 or 7
So
companies.
what I'm saying is, Rick, we may do better, you may be protecting the town's dollars and your budget by going back out to bid and approaching some of these tractor dealers that are out there. And there are some local dealers out there and you'll get these guys in the hydrostatic going at each other again.
I respect that, I do, but I think at the end of the day, I don't know how to say this. At the end of the day, are you looking for the low bid? Or are you looking for what you want within that hydrostatic? Answer that question.
Am I looking for the low bid? How do I know I don't have identical tractors?
Hold on, wait a minute.
Oh, stop,
Oh,
don't,
no.
you just asked me a question.
Okay.
How
no,
do I know
wait.
I won't have identical tractors from two different manufacturers at a different price?
Okay, with that being said, you have, hypothetically, you have all hydrostatic tractors from every brand name there is.
Okay?
Now do you go with the lowest bid?
But you're not listening to what I just said.
Maybe I'm not.
You got two identical tractors from the same manufacturer, from two different dealers.
Yeah?
You could have different prices,
Yes, I'm sorry.
okay?
I didn't hear that.
That's what
I
I'm
didn't-
talking
That
about.
went over my head.
Let's hear what David has to say.
From
I
what
agree.
from what I'm gathering out of this conversation, Rick, are you, and the capabilities of these tractors and their shifting, are you looking to go out for another bid with different terms of what you want in a tractor?
The only term that would change is the wording hydrostatic.
So your
That is it.
so your answer is yes, you would like to go out for another round of bidding.
I would rather not, to be honest, because I'd like to take, the commissioners have voted to go with the, one of these other, Collis, you can intervene at any
We're gonna
time
go
if you
with
want.
what the commissioner said.
What? That's against the town purchasing policy. You put out a bid spec for a tractor, and somebody comes in with a different spec and you decide to take that one, that's not the bid. You didn't give those other manufacturers a chance to bid on that tractor. And the commissioners don't have the right to go against the town's purchasing
So
policy.
what I just said is that this board can decide that we don't accept the recommendation
Exactly.
from the Park and Rec Commission, and we urge them to go out for another round of bidding.
I agree.
If I could, two comments, purchasing policy related. In the end, of course, the board's decision whether or not to accept any or all or reject any or all bids, based on the best interest of the town. So that's up for this board's decision. What would be the best interest of the town? The second thing, just in the conversations we've had so far, to me, I would kind of relate this to both companies that bid met the minimum spec required, and one company chose to bid an option, an upcharge option, in which case is the hydrostatic transmission. So I think you could, on that grounds, if they both at least meet the minimum bid, whereas one has bid the hydrostatic, I would consider that an upcharge option. So I think they both met, so you could, if you wanted to, in my opinion anyway, issue the purchase order to the higher bid hydrostatic transmission. If it was reversed and you had asked for a hydrostatic and both bid, and one came in with a hydrostatic and one came in with a manual, I think then you could say that they hadn't met the minimum required specification. So I think it really depends how you look at that hydrostatic. Is it an upcharge option, or is it a...
I would prefer a new round of bidding so that all the bidders know that the preferred transmission is hydrostatic, and we may get more firms willing to bid.
I think you'll get more because I think you'll get more, but I don't think the results will be any different.
It may not be, Rick.
I don't think it will be.
But at least we.
I guess
fought-
I'm more of a
I
realistic
like that.
individual,
I like to
but I agree.
keep
I
the
agree.
process defined.
Yeah, I would agree.
But, the one thing, and I don't mean to throw anybody under the bus, I throw myself under the bus because that's what I do best, but, when I sent this out to be reviewed, it said shuttle shift. Why wasn't I questioned then?
No,
Because
that's
you
not
were
the-
expecting a
Rick,
shuttle shift.
Rick, don't, continue, please.
Thank you.
So is it safe to say that this board will not accept any of the grants or the bids, and we are now
Not a
asking?
grant.
Yeah, it's a
The
bid.
bid, to go out for a rebid?
Rebid in
For a
the,
hydrostatic.
For a hydrostatic.
Transmission.
I'll make the motion that the Park Department needs to go out for a new round of bidding and be specific on a transmission that best suits our needs if it's hydrostatic.
I'll second.
So there's a motion by David, seconded by Peter, to resubmit bids for the the tractor to go out for a hydrostatic shift on the tractor. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained? The ayes have it.
So, just so I'm clear, I'm taking this exact same bid sheet and I'm changing that one line that says shuttle shift, and it's gonna read hydrostatic, and it's gonna stay the same.
If that's what you want.
Yes?
Is that the size motor you want? and
Yes.
All that, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
As
Yes.
long as that, but just
Yes.
make sure that that's what you want, and don't, come back and say, well, this guy's gonna throw this in and that in, and,
Okay.
I'm good.
All right.
Good.
Beat that one to a dead horse. That's it. Any other questions?
Yeah, why I'm on the spot here. Just to give you an FYI about my town vehicle. My town vehicle, as we know, had a rebuilt transmission put in it in July. Well, it now has an issue, not with the transmission, but with the PCM, the computerized piece that talks to the transmission. That is dead. So the cost to buy a brand-new one would be $18.98 installed. If you went out and you got one used from a junkyard, had it installed, $725. The Parks and Rec, and I'll just say, I mean, you guys have the ultimate say. What our thought is put the thing in the parking lot and send it out to auction. What we could do is I will drive one of the intern cars. We have 3 cruisers coming offline within a few weeks. So those 3 cruisers are coming off, so we just drive, we each drive a used cruiser until March of 2018. For 2018 CIP, we put in a request for a vehicle. That was in place in CIP, but not until 2021. It was a long ways up. So we would bump that ahead, and we both, myself and program supervisor would drive the used Crown Vics. Does that sound acceptable to you, or do you want something
Sounds reasonable to
different?
me, and we have many more decisions concerning CIP as we go forward, so your approach to me sounds reasonable.
I would agree. At some point in time, you gotta cut your losses on used vehicles.
absolutely.
How many miles on the vehicle?
105. 102 when it lost the transmission.
I consider that a motion, David?
Well, he's gonna put it in CIP, it'll come to us during CIP.
But I guess just putting the car,
Put
Yeah,
the,
I don't think that's an issue.
That's the usual process, working through the CIP.
all right. So you can put the
You have a
car in-
consensus, I guess.
put the car in the boneyard and
yeah.
drive.
I don't know
away.
if I leave it down there in your yard, maybe I'd bring it over to,
I'll bring it up the highway. Bring it up the highway.
maybe there's a place you can stick it in the corner up there somewhere, so it doesn't get destroyed down there.
Phil for the athletic fields.
What's that? We can make a sign out of it. We can make a sign out of it and put it right in the front.
Get an excavator up there, huh? You can make it disappear.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate it.
Rick, in 20 minutes or so, there's going to be a conversation here at the board concerning a park department issue, if you wouldn't mind staying there.
Sure.
All right. Town administrators report, you're up.
Okay, if you wouldn't mind, Mr. Chairman, I'll go a little out of order. We can bring Rodney up to talk about the elections and
That's fine.
get him out of here a little bit earlier. Okay, so I'll be moving up
Can't
to
believe he got us into all this trouble.
F, the 7F.
7F, you said?
Yes. Okay, so I'll just a quick rundown of where we stand right now. Last week, the Senate and the House both came to agreement on an amendment to House Bill 329, which addressed ratification of voting results from town meeting day and elections that were postponed in many towns across the state, March 14th. There's been some back and forth about whether or not towns have the authority to postpone town meeting. NHMA, town attorneys, and many local officials felt that we did. So on a group decision, but the moderator had the ultimate decision. We postponed to the 18th of March. There's been a lot to do because a lot of towns have bond issues that the bond banks sounded like they were unwilling to extend bonds to towns if there was any question at all about the legality of a vote. So in order to kind of get that process moving for everyone involved, even the towns that didn't postpone their elections, they've amended House Bill 329 to add blanket ratification of all elections that occurred on the postponed date. And furthermore, gave the option for local municipalities to decide if the governing body wishes to hold a single public hearing and then take a vote on to ratify actions, votes, and proceedings at our rescheduled date. So got to the governor late on Friday, and he signed it. So there's a little bit more information to follow, I think, as far as language goes. But with the board's concurrence, and maybe I'll let Rodney speak to it as well, we could schedule a public hearing rather at the next Board of Selectmen's meeting, and then you can hold a vote if you wish to vote to ratify officially, and then we'd basically be in good stead.
And that a public hearing and ratification would be for budget items. In our particular case, it was pretty much all budget items.
All budget items, all warrant articles, zoning regs, any of that.
Right.
So, I don't know if,
Point of order, I don't believe we had any zoning issues on our ballot this year.
correct, okay.
No, we didn't. I think it was just,
It was
basic.
just money items.
Right.
No bonding.
Nope.
Now, you mentioned that the governor signed it Friday and you were expecting some additional changes. Did he change it from the version that was circulated?
There was no change from what I saw. The version that was put out, HMA sent out an update this afternoon. I didn't see any change in the language itself. The only thing that I would hold off on and try to get to the board, if we're so inclined to hold a hearing and a vote, is if NHMA has any recommended language for that, just to make sure we hit all the wickets of the law.
Mr. Stark? The only change that occurred in the committee of conference between the two chambers was picking up on that word that Peter saw last week, that this board would hold it previously said boards would hold a public meeting.
Right.
And it was changed in a committee of conference to hold a public hearing. And then the board would take a vote. That was the only change in a committee of conference.
The idea being that with a public hearing, you have notice requirements
And testimony.
I've read the bill, and, I mean, they're really going after the lawyers. But that's okay. We had our meeting that morning, right here.
Yeah, we did.
We had a meeting. All the department heads were at that meeting, and we pretty much decided that we were gonna put it off. This bill speaks, I mean, it's not important, but just my take of it is that there's somebody up there is still upset at the municipal association. There's a power struggle up there, like, who's got the final say? Fortunately for Goffstown, we didn't have any bond issues, no zoning issues, so it's pretty straightforward. I think the idea, the bill does say that it's not going to establish any precedent, and I think that's good. I think that the law needs to be straightened out a little bit in terms of these circumstances, because it'll happen again sometime. That wasn't the only time it's happened, and it'll happen again. And there was so much difference of opinion. Even when the governor had his conference calls, he was getting advice from both sides. He didn't know what the right answer was, and so I think it should be straightened out. I I don't see the harm, I don't see any harm in going forward and having a ratification hearing. I mean, a hearing on whether or not to ratify it. I think it'd probably be just in case.
Yeah, cover the legality parts of it probably, Rodney, as well.
Yeah, I think it would give legislative blessing to anything that happened. If we have that hearing and you let the public come, that's the whole idea.
Yep.
Let the public come. If they don't, they can talk pro or con,
Yep.
and then you can decide whether or not to ratify it. It could be your call.
Peter?
What would it
I
mean
would
if
like
we
to make a
didn't?
motion that the chairman schedule a public hearing with the town administrator.
I'll second that.
So there's a motion by Peter, seconded by David, to have the town administrator schedule a hearing regarding this issue,
Public hearing.
public hearing.
Public hearing on the ratification.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? The ayes have it. So I guess looking at the schedule, whenever we have the availability, we'll set up a meeting and we'll post it and go from there.
Would you like it on the very next Board of Selectmen meeting? I don't,
What's the schedule?
Whatever is required for
Yeah.
postings, I'm not sure what you,
It's
how
a
soon you can get it in.
72 hours.
we have plenty of time.
Yeah.
It has to be published in the paper and put on the website. And
right.
that's the only requirement.
So we'll
Good enough.
plan on the next meeting. Thank you, sir.
Sure enough.
Rodney?
Thanks, Rodney. Okay. Back around to 7A. So first up's the Selectmen Committee meeting schedule.
I am not available tomorrow night, but David said he would cover that budget committee hearing.
I will take care of that, Mr. Chair. Tomorrow night.
Okay, we've got Wednesday, 9 a.m., a rail trail meeting at room 106 in Town Hall.
Mr. Brown's the appointee, and is he back in town tomorrow?
I don't think he comes back till Wednesday night,
But I'm bringing up a subject in a moment that may affect
that meeting.
that meeting, so we'll
Okay.
maybe mute.
Wednesday night, 6:30, HDC at Grassmere Town Hall.
Yep, all set.
Wednesday, 7 o'clock, Conservation Commission, room 106.
Yep.
Thursday, 7 o'clock, Planning Board.
I will do that.
And Wednesday, May 3rd, 6:30 PM, EDC, room 106.
Yep, I got that.
Okay. In the consensus folder, we have three employee status reports, a DPW promotion, an EMT new hire, and a shift from a full-time, or a call firefighter rather, to part-time firefighter. We have a secondhand dealer and pawnbroker's license. We've got a rights to inter, two of them actually, West Lawn Cemetery, section 1988, lots 36 to 37, and West Lawn Cemetery, section 1992, lot 172. We also have the municipal stormwater annual report from the Department of Public Works. We've got a dam safety permit application for the Uncanunic Mountain Dam, certified local government grant application via HDC, and then service recognition for Ray Tabor Rails Trails Committee. Need a motion on that.
Motion to accept the consensus vote.
Second.
Motion by Peter, seconded by Collis for the consensus folder. All signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained? The ayes have it.
Okay, for committee appointments, we have a few. For the ADA Compliance Committee, Carol Buchanan. Her term would expire 3/31 of 2018. We have two for the Building Board of Appeals, Gary Meehan and Thomas Hanley. And then for the Rail Trail, we have two, Warren Denby, his term expires 3/31 of 2020, and Andre Roy, his term would expire 3/31/18.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
The Building Board of Appeals, are those alternates, or are those full board members?
Let's see, I believe those are alternates, but I don't see it on the
Gail, do you know?
application.
That's not the zoning board.
Yeah, I know, I was wondering if they-
Yeah.
I don't know anything about the bill.
I believe they are alternates, but I don't see it on the application, so if you want to hold off on those.
No, that's okay, I was just curious, it doesn't matter really.
And, Mr. Chair, I would like to discuss the Rails to Trail appointments as a separate subject, if we could take the vote on the first two.
Yep, we can do that.
Motion to appoint, on the appointments of Carol Buchanan, Gary Meehan, and Thomas Henley.
So we have a motion for committee appointments on the ADA for Carol Boschman,
No, Buchanan.
Building Boards of Appeals, Gary Meehan and Tom's Hanley. All those in
But
favor?
we haven't had a second yet.
I'll-
Call a second.
Okay, so Peter and Collis seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, abstained, the ayes have it. David, go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Chair, going back to the appointment of people to serve on the Rails to Trail Committee, that's for Collis, please. Did you get this? Before considering that appointment, I'd like to offer the idea to the board that we close out the need for the Rail Trail Committee. And in the background for that idea is that the committee has fully served its purpose in that it serves to be a recommending committee to this board. I've made a number of points that I'd like to cover as to why the committee has served its purpose and should be closed down. Number one, town parcels have been surveyed, boundary markers have been installed back in 2008. Construction specifications for the trail have been defined in 2008. Our major road crossings for the trail have been built, 2015. 50% of all the trail surfaces have been constructed to those standards. The remaining 50% of the trail is passable with some caution for sand and some dips and roots. The committee that we're discussing has no authority. It serves only to provide recommendations to this board. The committee's had no reason to meet since 2015. Our rail trail is technically a park in this town. In a previous select board, perhaps maybe 4 years ago, it was decided that with essential completion of the trail should be managed by the Park and Rec Department, just like any other park in this town. The organization, Friends of the Goffstown Rail Trail, gladly continue to serve in their role of writing grants for trail construction. Any grant application that might seek in-kind work from DPW would still come before this board for approval. Any grant that would be awarded to that organization would still come before this board to be an acceptance of a donation prior to any work being done. And the prioritizing of which sections of that last 50% can easily be addressed by the Park and Rec Department. That's why I asked Rick to stay on here this evening, and in consultation with the Park and Rec Commission. I think the timing for this idea is appropriate. This committee has 11 members. 5 of them are from town department heads. 1 is a representative from this board, and there's 5 community reps. The 5 community reps are all vacant at the present time. 2 are community reps at large. 2 are Friends of the Goffstown Rail Trail representatives, and 1's a county, Hillsborough County representative, typically a commissioner of the county. So with all that preceding, I think I'd like to make the motion that the Rails to Trail Committee be dissolved.
Any
I'll
comments?
second it for discussion.
Okay.
This is coming before us in the middle of a budget season, and I'm not sure if this shouldn't be something that maybe should be phased out. Like, say, okay, Rick, next year you need to put in your budget that you're going to be maintaining something like this. I understand that the Friends do most of the maintenance now on it, but if we eliminate this and turn it over to Parks and Rec, they now become the stewards of that trail. And I'm not sure if that's something that we should be doing without having looked at the budget ramifications for the following year, instead of just all of a sudden, we put it on now. And this comes from you, but is this the sentiments of the committee?
It's the sentiments of a member of the
Member
chair
of the
board.
committee, okay.
No, it's
I
a member
understand.
of this board.
Yes, but how about the rest of the people? They feel the same way?
Who are the rest?
Well, you have people out here that are on other parts, are members of the town boards or employees, right? Department
Right,
heads?
there's 5 department heads on the board.
Do they all feel the same way, that we should dissolve this? I'm just trying to get that, make sure that one person's not making this decision that, to dissolve a committee that,
I'm trying to present the information to the board that the committee has served its purpose. Perhaps if the board wanted to send a feeler out to the 5 department heads, we could do that.
so then, or don't we make, go ahead, Mark.
I
I'm
was
sorry.
going to say,
I'd make a motion
Yeah,
to
we-
table, but go ahead.
we bring them in, and the people that are on this board, I mean, we can have one final discussion and put it to bed that next meeting, Peter. I agree tabling it, because, like you said, we've heard from the one person, and in all fairness, we need to hear from everybody as far as I'm concerned.
Would you like it to be on the agenda for the rail trail, previously scheduled rail trail committee meeting for Wednesday? And have the committee make a recommendation to bring to the board, or would you like to have the remaining members, which are all department heads and friends,
So there's a
attend a future board meeting?
We would have a quorum Wednesday only if there was a representative from each of the 5 departments. No, we wouldn't have a quorum. Because we need a selectman's rep to be there. And if Mr. Brown's not there, we don't have a quorum.
So put it off till the next selectmen's meeting? What do you think, Carlos?
Yeah, just table it.
Yeah, I would make a motion to table.
Yeah. I'm encouraged that we have this conversation and try to look into the usefulness of this committee. I mean, we don't have to keep this committee going forever and ever.
Right.
At some point, it does phase out.
So would it be a smart thing to go ahead and put Warren and Andre on so they could participate in that meeting?
Yes, sir.
So can we go back to that, Mark?
We can go back to that part. Sure.
You have
So
a motion to table on the
Oh, yeah, I was taking that
Okay, all
motion.
right, so there's a motion on the floor to table this particular
Motion
here for
Technically,
recommend.
I do withdraw my,
You want to withdraw it, or you just want to table it?
I'll change my motion
Okay,
to that we need to table the discussion to our next session.
okay. I'll second that.
You say.
All right, so there's a motion by David, seconded by Peter, to postpone or table till our next meeting, which is when?
the 8th of May.
8th of May. Bring that back up on the 8th of May. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
All those in favor, please
Aye.
signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? The ayes have it.
You want to make that motion for Warren and Andre?
Thank you. I'll make a motion to appoint Warren Denby and Andre Roy to be representatives to the Trail Committee, representing the Friends of the Goffstown Rail Trail.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by David, seconded by Peter, to allow Warren Denby and Andre Roy, members of the Rails Trail. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained? The
We now
ayes
have a quorum.
the ayes have it.
Okay. We have some event permits, TI Event Services. There's a road race / trail run on a portion of the Goffstown Rail Trail. Most of the race is in Manchester, but it does come into the rail trail on April 30th. 2 for the Goffstown volleyball servers, 1 for car detailing at the Goffstown High School, May 16th, with a rain date of May 18th. And then a car wash at St. Lawrence Church on May 20th. May Son's Beef has a barbecue and cook-off at 116 Daniel Plummer Road on the 13th of May. And Ray Vermakowitz has requested to be able to sell ice cream at 234 Daniel Plummer Road from April 29th through the end of the season at November 30th. And then finally,
Where is that?
Yeah, where is that?
That's Landscape Plus. So
Landscaping on Daniel
across
Plummer.
College Road, and then it's on the, or St. A's Drive, I should say, rather. It's on the extension of Daniel Plummer Road, close to the Bedford Town line.
It's a landscaping business.
Okay, Landscape Plus.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And
Yeah.
then finally, Goffstown Police Department's requested to hold their bicycle rodeo at Maple Ave School on the 21st of May. Need a motion for those.
I'll make a motion to approve the event permits.
I second the motion.
Motion by Peter, seconded by David on the events permits. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? The ayes have it.
Okay, we have some assessor recommendations. First one's a charitable exemption. It's been recommended by the assessor for Goffstown Junior Baseball, the actual fields, map 5, lot 62. We have multiple reports of timber cut, also recommended, map 7, lot 55, map 1, lot 61, map 2, lots 29, 2-32, and 5-102, Bravo. We have an intent to excavate, also recommended, map 6, lot 11-1. A report of excavated material, also recommended, map 6, lot 11-1. Solar energy systems exemptions, recommended, map 12, lot 23-3, and map 7, lot 90. Veterans tax credits, recommended, map 3, lot 37, Charlie 3-204, and map 9, lot 84-26, as well as map 14, lot 54. We have some elderly exemptions recommended, map 6, lot 22-31, map 16, lot 158, and map 30, lot 33. And finally, intent to timber cut is also recommended, map 3, lots 26 and 27. Need a motion for those.
Make a motion to accept the assessor's recommendation just read by Adam.
Second?
Motion by David, seconded by Collis on the assessor's recommendation report. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained? The ayes have it.
Okay, if you move, we already talked about 7F. If you move to 7G, Earl Carroll has resigned from the Capital Improvement Plan Committee after 17 years of service. It's kind of above the upper level of where we would give a plaque, so it's up to the board to decide how you'd like to recognize his service. Some of the things that, we could do, a plaque plus a proclamation or a brick, engraved brick for the town common and the Main Street program if you'd like. We've got a few of those to order already for retirees, so leave it up to
I think that'd be a nice gesture.
So we'll do the
Recommend. I'll make that
And the
recommendation.
brick.
plaque and the brick, yeah.
Yep.
Motion by,
And didn't he also serve as trustee of trust funds?
Yes, he did.
So that should be in the recognition as well.
Okay.
I'm not sure of the years of service. You can check
Okay, I can
on
look that up.
motion by Peter, seconded by Collis, to allow whatever comes forth, the plaque, the brick, recognition for Earl Carroll for his years of service for the town of Goffstown. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes. Opposed? Abstained? The ayes have it.
Sorry, I didn't catch the vote in a second on that one.
4-0. No. five.
Collis seconded
Yeah, I
it.
second.
Yeah.
It's 4-0.
Thank you. Okay, I-293, exit 6 and 7, Technical Advisory Committee met recently. As we previously discussed, the board had written a letter to the state and CC'd the city of Manchester and let them know that we would not be interested in paying for the extra extension from exit 7 through to Goffstown Road. So that was an item of discussion that day. Also, we looked at some different plans for exit 6 that included no direct access to exit 6 from Eddy Road and from Front Street, which right now bring you right there at that first intersection. The state's proposed a few different options that include no direct access, and you'd have to travel north to get to exit 7, but it would alleviate a lot of the backup that now occurs because you have so many intersections stacked up to each other. So that's been thrown on the table. They're going to have some public hearings coming up for the next round, so that'll be in discussion. And then the rest of the meeting basically talked about how the widening of I-293 south of Exit 6 is going to require pretty significant environmental plus historic building impacts. There's really no way about doing the widening of one lane in each direction without impacting both that big mill that's there and hanging out over the river. Right now, they're trying to do some cost analysis to figure out which is the best fix, I guess, to still accomplish that.
Who attended the TAC meeting?
On behalf of the town, myself and Public Works Director.
Thank you.
Okay, 7I, we held the board voted at the last meeting to authorize purchase of the fire truck under the consortium bid that the fire chief presented. One thing, as we got the contract docs back, I realized I didn't ask to have authorization for the fire chief to sign on behalf of the town, so I'd like a confirmation vote on that. Or if you choose alternatively, you can sign the contract that's in the signature folder. And then secondly, a confirmation vote of where the funding source is going to be for that purchase. So I'd like to confirm fire chief has authorization to sign the contract documents, and the money will be coming from capital reserve funds for the fire apparatus, 90202201 53200.
Make that motion.
Bless you.
I'll second it. Motion by Peter, seconded by Mark, to allow the chief for the confirmation vote for the authorization to sign the contract. Funding source for fire apparatus capital reserve fund 90202201-53200. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? The ayes have it. 5-0.
7J, Eversource has reached out to the town for some very early discussions. They've got a lot of work in town this year, right-of-way clearing and that type of thing, but they've also got a little bit more high-impact transmission reliability project, which basically is right-of-way clearing plus a little extra than they normally do. So instead of trimming, they actually are going to do some survey to mark out where their right-of-way is on the transmission lines and reach out to folks that are abutters and let them know if they're going to be impacted. Very early discussions. There's going to be letters that go out and some more prominent public outreach to be had, but I just want to let you know we did meet with them last week to get the first notification of that project. They've also offered to come into a future board meeting if you'd like to have them, maybe when they're ready to send out letters. Just so
Yeah,
you know.
maybe when it gets a little closer, Mark.
Yeah.
7K, 2016 tax liens are in your FYI folder. Tax collectors added a few items. The source of the lien itself has been added, so whether it's a tax, a sewer, or betterment. She did note there's 179 liens, looked at the total amounts of $375,000 between those three sources. And then I went back and looked, and this is actually the lowest, fewest number of tax liens over the last 20 years, so good trend for whatever reason. 7L, 2017 perambulation. We received a request from the town of Dunbarton asking to help them complete the 2017 perambulation. In the past, it's been done by Selectman Pierce, I believe, so the board
I'd like to recommend Selectman Pierce continue with that project. He's an expert at it.
Would you like to do that, David?
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Peter, seconded by David for the 2017 perambulation to take place. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. I will contact the
Okay.
representative from Dunbarton and proceed with the survey.
Opposed and abstained, the ayes have it.
Thank you. 7M, Goffstown Library is holding a Books at the Beach program this summer. It's going to be 3 separate one-day events at the Glen Lake Beach where they'll hand out books, I assume, and maybe allow people to bring books back there as part of their summer reading program. Right now, the staff in charge of the event is not a town resident, so library director has requested a non-resident special parking permit for each day of the event. The event dates are 7/13, 7/27, and 8/10.
I'll make that motion, Mark, that we allow them to have a non-resident parking.
I'll second it. I'd like to make a change from Glen Lake Beach to Glen Lake Waterfront.
Waterfront.
Motion by Peter, seconded by David Collis on the event pass for the library with the change that was mentioned.
Glen Lake Waterfront.
Glen Lake Waterfront on the dates of 7/13/17, 7/27/17, and 8/10/17. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Right?
Aye. Opposed? Abstained? The ayes have it.
Okay, I think that's all I had.
Should be it.
Can we revisit that? It says requesting a non-resident parking permit for each day, is that just for the director, one permit? Waiving?
Just one permit, I think it's not the
The
director.
person who's
Yeah,
handling
the
this
director.
program doesn't
Okay.
live in town.
Just want to be clear.
The alternative would be give them a town vehicle and they could drive the police car there or whatever, but. Okay, turn it over for item number 8.
New business, I don't,
Not
Yes.
limited.
I would like to, at a future board, we be brought up to date with the survey that was to be done at the Summit Road.
Yeah, how's that working out?
So maybe just, bring that back with where.
Have they done it? I know they were waiting for the weather to break or something, and then,
Hasn't been done. Originally, we were waiting for the weather, and I think right now they're probably waiting on the long pole in the tent. Right now, get his feet wet in the TA role before we meet. But they've actually reached out to the Public Works Director to sit down with us and just go over any parameters for notifications and just make sure that it's a smooth process.
Maybe there's no need for, I was thinking it already had been done, and we haven't got the feedback, so,
the survey has not been done yet, right?
so just let things proceed then. Thank you for the update.
Sir?
committee meetings, we have reports, Parks and Rec.
Yep, Parks and Rec met in and discussed a number of issues. Talked about Lloyd Pool. The 2017 bathhouse is going to be rebuilt. The other fields are in good shape, coming along. The signups have been strong. Apparently, there was a stray dock that ended up down at the Glen Lake waterfront. That's been removed. You heard the discussion earlier from Rick Wilhelmy relative to the tractor. And that took up a good share of the meeting. And we talked about some of the impact fees and the balances in the revolving. And then we heard discussion as well about the town car.
Yep.
That's about it.
That was it. Any questions on the report? Sewer Commission?
Nope. Me too.
Nothing, okay. Planning Board?
He's doing you're going to do sewer commission?
Sewer Commission is very straightforward. We did receive a fee proposal from the consultant that we talked about, but other than that, it was a very, very quick meeting.
And it was kind of the same thing I attended the planning board meeting, and we talked about the piece of property, that the conversion to an auto shop up there on Terrell Road in New Boston, Goffstown line. And we had the residents, some of the New Boston some of the Bedford residents were there to participate in the meeting, voiced their concern over I guess before the person who's putting the facility in there bought the property, it was heavily logged. So there was some, they were able to see from their house up to this location, and with the expansion of the location, they were asking for some kind of vegetation to be put in there to protect them. The property slopes down and then goes back up, so if you put vegetation in here, the lower part, it wouldn't help, so the landowner agreed to put some vegetation along the building to hide it up on the hill. Other than that, everything was approved. That was the only thing, we had another thing on agenda that got canceled, so.
Wellness Committee?
That's Alan, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe it is. Old Business, Action Matrix.
Adam took over that, he's all over it.
Not much change on items in the action matrix. Derek does have the tasker for the Historic District Commission at their next meeting to get the A-OK to go ahead with the roof quote. With the new vendor for the emergency lighting, and then he's issuing the work for the roof next week.
They were there working today, they were doing some landscaping today, they regraded the parking lot across the street and
I didn't realize that was a pretty quick action on the, yes, the sewer, or the septic installer contacted town.
They spread a good section of loom, and they regraded the entire dirt parking lot today. They were there good part of the day.
Great. Megan, do you know if their punch list is complete after that activity?
I sent those emails to Mikey, didn't know they made it out already today, so.
Yep, I went by 4 times today for different emergency calls, and
Oh, okay.
they were out there. The loom was spread, everything was there. They were going to town on it.
Okay, they had contacted Mike a year ago about that.
Yep.
He sent them the last info we had from that.
On the Adam Class 6 roads, did we send that to town attorney for a review?
We did. It was on a non-public item last meeting. We got his feedback
No
on it.
response yet, right?
Oh, we did. We did get a response, yep.
Talk it up, do it in public, is that what your plan was?
We did on the last meeting. I
Okay.
think I would recommend, I think we drop that unless you want to take that any further after that discussion, I think is how we left it.
That was my recommendation, to not proceed with such a letter.
So we dropped it then, right?
Okay, thank you. So if,
I don't remember. I have to go through the minutes and look
Yeah.
at that.
I think we forgot to talk about pulling it off the action matrix if that's
Okay.
your
So
intent.
that'll-
but-
needs to be pulled.
That'll take off the action matrix.
We completed something this evening.
We're getting a lot of stuff done, right there.
That should be it for that. 7:30, right on time, chief.
This is paragraph 9.
Yes, paragraph number 9.
Good evening, thank you. At the last Selectmen's meeting, we're discussing the Church Street Fire Station project and some of the items that were not included in the contract or the guaranteed maximum price with the contractor. One being the shed addition, and the other one sheathing and siding of the exterior west wall. And it was the will of the board at that time to have me find ways to fund these items, and tonight I come before you to present my proposal to get this project done and going from there. So with that, we have final pricing for the shed addition on the rear of the building is $49,750. And the sheathing and siding for the exterior west wall is $10,179. And then obviously we were looking to get a exterior sign for the station for the front over the bay doors, and that was $4,000 for the total of almost $64,000. What we did is I selected several items in our fiscal year 2017 fire department budget that could be deferred for the purchase of the budgetary transfer for the purpose of completing this project. The first item was under machinery and equipment, under a capital, would be to defer the rescue boat for the cost of $20,000, and the other one would be for purchasing 3, not 4, thermal imagers that were due for replacement, and also utilizing Massachusetts state bid pricing, which would equate to an equivalency of $17,000 in savings. The next line would be under facility repairs for $13,000. That would defer the natural gas conversion of Station 19 on Mast Road, again for $13,000. The account line transfers and the subsequent use of public safety impact fees will cover the cost needed for the identified project items. With the $37,000 from the machining equipment line, the $13,000 from the facility repairs, and selecting and assigning $14,750 from the public safety impact fees for this project, we would be able to get this done. Just for reference, also behind me is John Ricci from Ricci Construction, who's overseeing the project here on Church Street. I asked him here if there's any technical questions that he could field for you if that was needed. I talked to both Adam and the finance director on the proper method to do a transfer in this particular case, and they suggested that the monies would be transferred to a CIP line that's already designated in the Munis system, which is named Fire Department Station 18 Construction Expense Line, which the number is there in the memo. That way, it clearly would target the change order or the projects identified by this board to get done under that. And if there's any savings at the end of the day, it would just go into the general fund.
I think the issue with that was we couldn't assign funds to a bond account line. So to keep the financing proper, that's what Derek recommended.
Peter?
So, do you plan on coming back to CIP for your $20,000 vote? Or that won't come, doesn't qualify as CIP, does it?
Well,
It does because it's a registered vehicle.
it's a registered vehicle, and and the other one is obviously with inflation, I believe it'd be a little bit more than $20,000 for the CIP,
So,
for the upcoming years or out years.
okay, but is that what you plan on coming to CIP with this year?
It'll be in our CIP plan, yes.
Okay. Next question is we're designating that as an emergency vehicle, it's registered, why aren't you taking it out of your capital reserve?
That was an argument, I know, in CIP, where they didn't recommend the use of the CRF for boats or SUVs, and there was discussion.
Oh, we did use it for an SUV once already.
We did once, and that's, again, if that's the will of the CIP, and then ultimately the board and the budget committee, absolutely. I don't see why not.
I hesitate just going back and saying, well, you know, we had to use that money for something else, so we're back here again with it. CIP is already, it's already established, the funds are already there. I would suggest that $20,000 for the boat come out of CIP. And as he stated, with inflation, we're going to actually save money if we go out of the capital reserve fund. That's my recommendation. Everybody else can chime in what they think.
That sounds reasonable.
David?
So, please clarify, the 37,000 still comes out
Yeah, but I'm talking about going back.
next year's CIP.
No, no,
This,
no,
out of this
no.
year's, out of this year's.
Let me finish,
Yep.
okay? We established a capital reserve fund. It has money in it. Right now, it already has money. So he can purchase that boat this year out of that capital reserve fund. So it would have no impact on the budget this year, next year, or the following years. Because it's in the CI, it's already money that's established, fund put away.
And this board is the agents for that CIP.
That's right.
Capital Reserve Fund.
Good clarification.
So it still gives us that $20,000 to use.
Adam, do we need a recommendation, or is that a motion, recommendation or motion from this board to?
You would certainly need a.
It's going to have to come to us because it has to
recommendation
be,
make it happen.
to come out of the capital reserve fund, we have to take a vote on that.
I would present to the board at that time for that purpose.
So at this time, it'd be a recommendation?
We're recommending to the chief that he come to us with
Yeah.
Okay.
with a capital reserve fund request for $20,000 to replace that boat.
Now, the issue with these items, the proper way to classify this all is with a construction change order, because we're going to be outside our guaranteed max for the contract, and I know Derek and the auditors might have some issues if we show overexpending for the project when that time comes here in a few weeks, at least to start the
Now,
process.
in the original plans, was that shelter in there, that shed?
No, it was not. It was, the only thing that was in the scope was to put a foundation on it, floor and foundation for that shed.
So the foundation's there.
Foundation's there.
And this action will complete the shed then?
This will complete the shed.
It's a lot of money, $50,000 for a shed.
Well, let's maybe change the name of it then.
Two-story
Would you
apartment
prefer-
building, or what are we putting up here?
The all-new Taggart building. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
No, I don't know if we have looked or you've looked, but, I mean, there's two prices here, one for steel and one for brick, right?
The one is for steel. The higher price model is for steel, and then the other one was for using concrete block. And
In all fairness, would this new building serve any other purpose?
as far as occupying that building, I would say not. This is just for storage.
Wrong answer. No, I mean, a storage building.
We need the storage. Yeah, it'll be for like hose storage and equipment that we typically wouldn't want in the building, say, like a generator or a pump or something like that.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
It would serve some other purpose
Oh, absolutely.
besides storing one old vehicle.
We have gasoline-powered pumps and portable power pumps that should not be in a building.
Thank you.
So what would it cost if we were just storing the Taggart?
I couldn't answer that question.
I mean, because now, we've gone from a storage to something to store in the Taggart to a regular storage building for other stuff, too. I mean, I think we've just gone past the scope of what we wanted.
I agree with the information the chief just presented. The building is going to serve other legitimate needs, and yes, it will take
Plus.
care of the Taggart vehicle.
And a good sprinkler,
It'll be sprinklered, it'll be alarmed
and it's
also.
new.
Just general storage, whatever your needs might be.
General storage.
Always comes in useful.
You got a hose.
There will be about 500 or 600 feet of hose. 4-inch hose, 3-inch, 2.5. I just throw that out there. It's an option, whether we spend,
$3,000 option.
yeah,
It's just money.
it's $3,000, the chief might be able to do something else with it for the fire station, who knows?
What's the motion that needs to be made?
That's,
I make a motion, we go with the $49,750 option.
Very good. Then I'll second that for you.
the motion on the floor by Peter, seconded by David, to go for the $49,750 option with the brick or block construction. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? All those abstain? The ayes have it.
And once again, we had, at the time, had given, the board gave the authority to the town administrator to sign that change order or the agreement. Is that still hold true in this case, too?
Can I ask one question before we go any further?
Go ahead.
This bid is by Ricky Construction. Should we go out to bid for this little building? It's a separate, I mean, it's attached. I mean, this is, you almost feel like you should just check out and see what kind of a deal. I mean, $50,000 for a storage shed. And then we got another $1,755 construction management fee in there.
I appreciate the idea of going down that trail.
The protection of the town's finances,
But
yeah, you're welcome.
I consider this as part of the
part of it.
overall fire station improvement project, and we need it all completed, more or less as it's intended to be completed.
And I will second David's concerns. Collis, do you have anything to add?
No problems.
So you,
If the board's inclined, I think we need a second motion to authorize the budget transfers, and then if you would like me to sign the
motion
change
to
orders.
authorize the budget transfers we just discussed,
To-
and the town
For the
administrator.
$49,750.
$49,750 totaling, and that the town administrator be authorized, help me here, Adam,
To sign the construction change order
sign the
documents.
construction change order.
Second.
Motion on the floor by David, seconded by Collis, for the budget transfer and the signing of all paperwork necessarily needed for the total of $49,750. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstained? The ayes have it.
Just out of clarity, that include the siding and signage also?
Yeah.
Okay.
Make it happen now.
I can't wait. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
So we're all done with that stuff?
We've gone by 7:40. Anybody in the audience for public comment? No public
Motion
comment?
to go into non-public session under RSA 91-A:3, 2A compensation, B hiring, C adversely affecting reputation, and D acquisition of real property.
Second?
Motion by Peter, seconded by David. All those in favor, that's a roll call, correct?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes,
Yes. All right.
that'll conclude.
That will conclude our April 24th Selectmen's meeting. Thank you very much.
I hate that timing.